first stop is our apprentice shop. So what we have here is our apprentice shop, and this is a little different from a lot of other companies, similar manufacturing companies. So when you look at the facility itself, when you factor in our trainers, because we actually have an apprentice shop manager. We have slots for four dedicated trainers for electrical and hydraulic. Um, so we actually have staff that are basically working with people. We typically take people into the apprenticeship program starting from generally high school students. We look for high school students, but we've had people in the program as old as 28 years old. And we bring them into the program. This is a 4-year program. At the end of that 4 years, um, they come out with not only 4 years of actual true work experience, but they also have a journeyman certificate, and then they also come out with an associate's degree. And there's no cost for people participating in the program. We pay for all of their schooling, all of their books, their uniforms, all of that stuff,
and the paycheck.
and their paycheck. So they basically come in as EGRA employees. They get the same exact benefits, same 401k, everything. But we are basically training them to be the future EGRA employees post apprenticeship. So for the first 3 months, they are basically doing filing work. So basically, kind of reading plans and kind of working with their hands and looking at plans and just basically creating materials and kind of learning the basics, because we've taken people into this program who realistically couldn't identify what type of screwdriver was what type of screwdriver. The last kind of batch of applicants that we had to the program, we had 125 applicants. We chose 6 people. So it's certainly about following instructions. It's certainly about being able to follow plans, but it's also does somebody have kind of is somebody a cultural fit, as well as basically can they eventually take on the skills to eventually work in our maintenance department or our production department. So it's a very competitive program, and it is also a program that, at least in this area, we have people who have not even necessarily completed the 4 years of training, but have gone on to be maintenance managers and things like that at other facilities. So that's kind of locally how sought after our apprentices are. Like what we have over here is some of the projects and things like that they've worked on, and after they are in the program for, I believe, about 6 months, that's when they have the choice and they've had exposure to different areas of the business, and they can figure out if they want to basically decide to handle electrical and kind of go down the path of electrical, or if they want to go down the hydraulics and slash maintenance path. Really, really, um, very, very involved and very kind of structured program to be able to bring people along who don't have a ton of experience, but at the end of the day, and actually at the end of the program, as long as they successfully make it through the program, they are also guaranteed a job here at earliest class may have had roughly 20 people. We thought that was actually too much. There were some people who had kind of peeled off. It shrunk down to 12 people, was still manageable, but our apprentice trainers kind of determined that they were getting people, but they still wanted to make sure that they got quality people who they thought would start the program and eventually succeed at being able to finish the program. So that's why the last class was eventually winnowed down to 6 people. The other part of this too is it's also similar to, I'll say, when people are kind of being recruited for colleges and stuff like that, there's a lot of conversations that's going on, not just with the candidates themselves, but also in these instances because it's generally high school students, having conversations with their parents as well, and kind of saying, yes, your son or daughter is going to come in and going to be an employee, and this is what they're going to kind of expect in the first year, the second year, the third year, etc. And when people go through and complete the program, we don't ask them to sign a contract. They can basically leave at any point. So there's no, we're not saying, okay, you finished year three and you owe us $20,000 for your school. That's just kind of baked into the program and how the program is, because we also know the value of it and how strongly we feel in being able to develop these employees into people who you're going to kind of meet today as we walk through the rest of the plan. So the trainers that we have on staff, we have a gentleman who, prior to coming to us, he was a welder who was building ships for the Navy. We have another trainer on staff who actually spent 20 years in the Navy as a hydraulics expert. So a lot, kind of a deep bench of talent that's then building the bench of talent for the rest of magnet production.
The best thing about the apprenticeship program is when they graduate and they complete the course, they are fully ready to be maintenance employees, plug and play anywhere throughout the facility because they've had that experience and exposure the whole 4 years. Yeah, there's no learning curve.
They not only do they know the equipment, like a couple of weeks ago, we had what we refer to as a major maintenance shutdown, where typically for 3 to 4 days, we'll actually bring the plant down and do major preventive maintenances. The apprentice shop actually had a massive, massive roll in that, where the rollers for the Conti press that we're going to see later on in the tour, the job for the apprentice shop was to basically take all of those rollers apart, make sure that they're properly lubricated and they're not worn, and then replace them as needed. So this is a massive, massive investment, but it's also not just for show. There's so much function and so much value that comes out of not just this space, but also what people learn and capture from a knowledge perspective in this area.